chocolate, sweet, velvety, irresistible. That little treat, melting right on your tongue, lifting your mood, hides a world of effort, tradition, and wonder that most people never see. Every second, over 250 pounds of chocolate are consumed. Each year, that number surpasses 7 million tons. But have you ever wondered, where does chocolate really come from? How does a bitter jungle fruit become the flavor that the whole world craves? The story of chocolate doesn't begin in a factory. It begins deep in the lungs of the planet, in a place where time moves slowly, where the air is thick with heat and humidity, where trees grow fruit from their trunks, and where every chocolate bar is born from sweat, patience, and a little bit of magic. To understand chocolate, you have to go back to its origins. Literally, in the steamy belt of the earth that hugs the equator where the sun is close enough to touch, grows one of the most delicate, temperamental, and demanding trees in the world, the cacao tree. This is not a towering giant tree or a fruit tree from the garden. It's small, fragile, ever-changing. It doesn't grow just anywhere. It requires precise conditions, a stable temperature between 65 and 90 degrees, moderate rainfall, mild temperatures, and a bit of shade to survive. And here's the strangest part. Its fruit doesn't dangle from branches, but grows directly from the trunk, like red, orange, and yellow gemstones clinging to the rough bark. It takes nearly 5 months for a fruit to ripen completely. Once ripe, they don't fall off by themselves. Instead, they must be harvested by hand one by one. Farmers step through twisted roots and use razor-sharp machetes to cut each fruit under the blazing tropical sun. It's slow, sweaty work, and it happens thousands of times a day just to begin the long journey of chocolate. The cacao beans are completely separated from their shells by hand. The outer shell of the cacao pod is tough and rough, so farmers must use machetes to split it open and carefully extract the beans inside. Open a cacao pod and you'll be surprised. Inside each pod are 30 to 40 beans, wrapped in a layer of white, sticky, juicy pulp that tastes like a blend of lychee and citrus, sweet, refreshing, and fragrant. The thick, watery pulp is extracted at the factory, and once fully extracted, it can be consumed directly without any additives. This extracted pulp is processed and turned into products like cacao juice or chewy dried cacao pulp, popular items in the market. But the star of the show is the bean itself, the bitter, stubborn cacao beans, the soul of chocolate. At first glance, no one would think they could become chocolate, but with time and persistence, the impossible becomes possible. If this video has amazed you, hit subscribe and share it with your friend who loves chocolate so they can discover this journey too. To create the distinctive flavor, the cacao beans must undergo fermentation. The beans are placed in small wooden bins covered with banana leaves or natural fiber mesh, and the fermentation process begins. Inside, the temperature rises, bacteria start to work, sugars break down, acidity appears, and bitterness fades. The natural sugars in the fruit react with oxygen, breaking down the white pulp surrounding the beans. The beans turn a dark brown. Little by little, the chocolate aroma begins to form. This process typically lasts about 6 to 7 days. Next, the beans are laid out to sun-dry for 10 days, layer by layer, batch by batch. Every 30 minutes, they must be stirred to prevent mold and ensure they dry evenly. Slowly, painstakingly, but this is when the flavor starts to take shape. Once fully dried, the cacao beans are gathered, sorted by size and quality, and packed into large burlap sacks, each weighing about 130 pounds, containing thousands of small beans, like flavor bombs waiting to be awakened. Then they begin their next journey, a journey that will take them far beyond the damp thickets of the equator. At the factory, millions of 130-pound sacks of cacao are delivered. They are poured into systems leading to specialized roasting chambers. Now comes the roasting of the beans. Some batches are lightly roasted, preserving fruity notes. Others are roasted longer, adding depth and warmth. It depends on the specific needs of each batch of chocolate. After roasting, samples of the beans are taken to check the quality of each batch. A special handheld tool is used to split each cacao bean in half, allowing experts to assess the quality of the entire batch. If the color is purple, not yet up to standard, brown, perfect, that color indicates successful fermentation, and the flavor is about to peak. Once fully roasted, the beans are passed through a grinder where powerful blades separate the nibs from the shells. The lighter shells are removed by a vacuum system. What's left are cacao nibs, pure chocolate in its raw form. But to turn these cacao nibs into delicious chocolate, they need to be ground into a smooth, thick, rich mixture. This is called chocolate liquor, but there's no alcohol. It's 100% cacao, half cocoa butter, half solid mass. It has a rich, intense aroma, a bit sharp, because the natural compounds are released during grinding, and that is the true starting point of chocolate. From here, the chocolate liquor is placed into a hydraulic press. Cocoa butter, the smooth golden fat, is separated. What remains is the solid cacao, which is then ground even finer to create cocoa powder, a key ingredient in many products from candies to beverages. To make chocolate, everything is mixed together: cocoa powder, cocoa, butter, sugar, and powdered milk in specific proportions depending on the type of chocolate desired, and then passed through a massive 5-roll grinding system. The texture gradually changes. The high temperature and friction during the mixing process activate the cocoa butter, creating a smooth, rich liquid mixture known as chocolate liquor, the foundation of all the chocolate we love. Now comes the conching, the final step in the production of liquid chocolate, but it plays a crucial role in enhancing the flavor and texture before the chocolate is molded or further processed. This process takes place in the conching machine, where the chocolate is continuously stirred for hours, sometimes even days, to achieve the perfect smoothness. Heated, kneaded, and transformed, the unwanted compounds evaporate, the bitterness softens, the acidity settles, the flavor spreads, and the texture becomes glossy and harmonious. The conching process can last anywhere from 4 to 72 hours, depending on the desired chocolate quality. An important factor in this process is maintaining a stable temperature of 97 degrees. The chocolate needs to be warm enough to maintain a smooth texture, and not clump but not too hot. Done right, conching creates the soul of chocolate. Done wrong, it all disappears. Once everything is perfect, the chocolate molding stage begins, where the smooth liquid chocolate is transformed into finished products with a complete shape. The liquid chocolate is poured into special molds, creating traditional chocolate bars in various sizes, from compact, convenient ones to larger versions for those who love a rich chocolate experience. A dedicated molding machine pours the liquid chocolate into plastic molds shaped like chocolate bars. The mixture is carefully poured into each mold to avoid air bubbles and ensure even distribution of chocolate in every bar. Then a special scraper removes the excess chocolate from the mold surface, creating sharp, uniform edges. This production line is impressive, capable of filling 310 molds per minute, equivalent to over 200,000 chocolate bars produced each day. After being poured into the molds, the chocolate passes through a cooling tunnel to harden, forming the perfect texture before packaging. Once the chocolate bars are fully hardened, they enter the demolding stage, an important step to ensure each bar retains its perfect shape, and as the molds gently rotate, the chocolate pops out, smooth, intact, continuing to move along the conveyor belt toward the packaging area. Here, a high-speed wrapping machine quickly covers each chocolate bar in foil, protecting the product from air and moisture, preserving its flavor and extending its shelf life. Then the decorative packaging is added, giving it an attractive and professional appearance. The boxes are filled, the pallets are stacked, and the chocolate, real chocolate, begins its final journey. Across highways, over oceans, across borders, to stores, to homes, to your hands, just waiting for you to peel back the foil. Break off a piece, pop it in your mouth, letting it slowly melt comfortably on your tongue. And maybe, just maybe, you'll remember the magical journey that brought it to life. If you found this video interesting, hit like, share it with a friend who loves chocolate, and subscribe to discover more untold stories behind familiar foods. See you next time, and always keep curiosity in your heart.